Hello, it's good to see you. Today we are here with a bunch of stories. Oh my goodness, I had so many submissions of wardrobe malfunction stories. This isn't even all of them. I have almost 30 pages and it's like single spaced. It's amazing. I got so many responses. This isn't even all of them. I'm not going to get through all these today. I mean, I might, but I kind of doubt it. So I'm going to have to do a second video of these stories. Let me just tell you, if you've ever had a wardrobe mishap, don't feel bad because apparently it's happened to like everybody. It is crazy. I spent about 2 hours today reading through. I didn't even get through all of them. Just reading through some of these stories and printing them out. I just put them into a Word document and then just printed them. Wow. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much to everybody that sent in a story. And if I haven't responded to you yet, it's probably because I just haven't gotten to your story yet. I have so many to go through that I wasn't able to get through all of them. I didn't even know I had that many until today. Wow. So we're going to be reading these, and like I said, I'm going to try to pick 5 stories, not now, but after I go through and read them all, I'm going to pick 5 people, and then we're going to put together an outfit for each of the 5 people, and then we'll do a video where we look at the outfits once I have them all picked out. So yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So these are funny. Gosh, you know, it's just reading through all these stories, I felt really bad for some of these people. I am so grateful that I have not had anything like this happen to me yet. I mean, you can have a wardrobe malfunction anytime. But yeah, we're gonna read through these. We'll see how far we get. So we'll have to come back and do some more after I read through the rest. Okay, I'm just gonna give first names of people. This is from Natalie. Hi Mary, I watched your YouTube videos and saw your idea for outfits of the week last week and thought it was a super cute idea. So here's my funny wardrobe story. I am currently 36 weeks pregnant and am a smaller gal, so I've been able to get away with wearing most normal non-maternity clothing through pregnancy up until recently. Well, apparently my brain hasn't registered that my belly has gotten bigger, and on 2 separate occasions now, I've had women come up to me in the grocery store letting me know that the whole bottom of my belly is hanging out, beautiful stretch marks and all. It's not that funny unless you see it, but just imagine the episode from Friends when Rachel is pregnant and it might be funnier. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's the hard thing when you're pregnant. You have to change clothes frequently. You get to where things don't fit anymore. With both of my pregnancies, I remember when I got to the point that I couldn't wear regular clothes anymore, and your body is shaped differently now, and things don't fit like they used to, and it's very frustrating trying to find stuff that fits. And if you're like me, you find like one pair of maternity pants that you love, and you want to wear them every day because they fit better than the rest of them. I was that way with both of my pregnancies. Or you find a shirt that it's very comfortable and everything, and it's more comfortable than your other stuff, and you want to wear it. Okay, so this is from Steven. Let's see. My funny wardrobe malfunction was when I went into an off-license store near my house. My hoodie skagged on the door, and the thread kept winding and winding as I went through different aisles. And finally, after 2 aisles, an elderly lady tapped me on the shoulder and pointed out how my shirt had skagged on the shop door, and about an inch of it from the bottom of the back had thread away, and everyone could see the top of my underwear. Oops. I've never heard that term skagged. I'm not sure where you're from, but that's a new one on me. Okay, now this is from, she wanted to be referred to as Veronica Jane. She said, I have a very embarrassing story for you. I got married a few years ago, and the whole day turned out to be awful. The same day I had gotten married, there were 10 other weddings in the surrounding area, and only have the guests had shown up due to so many that day. So as the doors opened for me to walk down the aisle, I noticed that a lot of people were missing. So I'm already upset about that. Then I had realized one of the groomsmen was missing. So I said, okay, it's fine. I won't let him ruin my day. After the ceremony, we had some pictures done and we went to the reception. As we were getting situated to be introduced, I felt like my dress was being pulled down a little and I couldn't figure out what was going on. No one could be stepping on the train because we had pinned it up. So we go through the motions of the evening and we get to my father-daughter dance, and that's when it went bad. My dad and I did one of those crazy dances to a mix of Missy Elliott, Parliament, and the song Uptown Funk. Well, as we are dancing, I went to step back to give my father his funkadelic solo, as he called it, and I stepped on a little part of the back of my dress, and all at the same time my heel on my shoe cracked and the clasp to hold my train up ripped, and the whole seam from the bottom of the corset ripped, and the whole back of my dress fell down below my butt. It gets better. Everyone just laughed, and as I turned around to run, I slipped on my heel that had broken and bumped into the table with the cake on it, and I knocked the cake over. Needless to say, that marriage only lasted 3 years, and I blame it on all of the malfunctions of that day. Oh, that's so awful. Oh my God. Okay, I like that one. Okay, this is from Brittany. She said, here's my story. Not so much of a malfunction, still embarrassing. I was about 11 years old at the time, and my little brother was 5 years old. I was standing up in the church pew singing gospels at the top of my lungs, having a grand old time, when I feel a cool breeze on my backside, an area that certainly shouldn't be exposed. My little brother had lifted up my dress, exposing my bright pink undies through my white pantyhose to all of the people in the pews behind us. Mortified, I looked behind me to see if anyone saw, and sure enough, I see some red-faced boys giggling along with my little brother. Oh my God. Okay, this one is from Tara. I found this beautiful black dress at a thrift store. It was really vintage and I was in love with it. So I decided one day I would wear it out to church for an event. I did my hair, I did my makeup, and I put the dress on, and I was super excited. And as I was turning right to left, looking in the mirror, thinking I'm about to kill everybody with my look, LOL, all I heard was a ridiculous splitting of fabric, and I knew that something went wrong. I turned around, and there was an entire split from the top of my butt all the way up my back. I was devastated. There are a lot of exposed butts in these stories. Okay, this is from Meg. A story of how I waitressed with my butt exposed. During college, I would waitress during the summer break to make money for the upcoming school year. I worked at a waterfront restaurant for a 4-star beach resort. Although it was a family-friendly restaurant, it was still pretty nice due to the views and the resort as a whole being expensive, which made what happened to me definitely worse. It was at the beginning of the dinner rush during a double shift that a fellow server pointed out that there was a rip in my pants. It wasn't just a tiny rip. It spanned the whole length of the back of my thigh and was right below my butt. It was definitely high up enough my leg that the bottom of my butt could have been exposed. I had no idea when the rip happened, so I definitely could have gone through the first 6 hours of my shift with one of my butt cheeks hanging out. Luckily, I lived a mile from the restaurant, so could easily go home and change pants. Since we were in the middle of the dinner rush by this point, I had one of the bartenders cover my tables while I ran home. One of my tables asked where I went, and she explained what had happened. They said that they noticed the rip but didn't bother telling me. I wanted to die when I heard that. How could they let me walk around like that? Luckily, I only had one more shift at the restaurant before I left, and I haven't been back since. this one is from Heather. I was about 7 months pregnant and went out to the stores to do some shopping. Being pregnant, my jeans were getting very tight, and I had a 6-pound baby sitting on my bladder, and I had to pee almost every half hour. So I'm in the middle of a crowded store, found the bathrooms, and I sit on the toilet. I look down at my jeans, and there's a huge rip right on the crack going all the way down my butt. My jeans must have ripped at some point without me knowing. I continued my shopping, though. I embraced it and wasn't going back home after driving all the way there and waddling through the store. There you go. Just go with it. You know, sometimes you just have to do that. Like, I'm not going back. I'm gonna soldier on. We're gonna go through this. Okay, this story is from Carrie. Hi, Mary. Here's my wardrobe story. As an intern in a downtown office, I left the restroom one day, walked through the office, down through the lobby, through Saks Fifth Avenue department store, and through the parking garage, with my ankle-length skirt tucked in my pantyhose. Nobody said a word. Luckily, I was skinnier then, but still not showing off my butt worthy. Hope this made you laugh. Thanks for all you do. Yeah, that was the closest I came to having a wardrobe malfunction, except for the broken halo in the Christmas pageant when I was a kid, which was nothing compared to what these people have gone through. This was at my last job, actually. I had that long, flowy skirt. It was kind of yellow and green. I got it at Goodwill. I think I've shown it in at least one Outfits of the Week video. Well, thank goodness in the restroom there was a full-length mirror right by the door so you could see yourself as you were walking towards the door. Apparently, without realizing it, I had tucked the back of my skirt. Somehow, I had managed to tuck it into the waistband of the skirt itself. I still don't know how in the world I managed to do that. But because it was so long and flowing, it always felt kind of like it wasn't really touching your legs that much. So I didn't really notice that it wasn't touching the backs of my legs. I almost walked out back in just among everybody with my skirt tucked into its own waistband. So that would have been pretty embarrassing. Okay, let's see. All right, this story is from Bailey. I have a wardrobe malfunction story for you. Earlier this year, when we were in full lockdown, I was staying with my boyfriend for a few days, and I had taken my dog along as well. I decided to wear something cute instead of the typical sweatpants and t-shirts we've all been living in, so I had on some new jeans and a sweater. While my boyfriend was on the phone, I walked into another room and scooped up my dog off of the bed and set her on the floor. When I squatted to set her down, with impeccable form, I might add, I heard the terrible sound of fabric ripping and felt a new breeze, so to speak. I gasped and stood up, clutching my buns, which were now largely bare. My boyfriend asked what was wrong, as he had heard the gasp. I turned around to show him the entirely ripped open butt of my brand new jeans, and he began cackling while still on his phone call. We had a great laugh about it, which was much needed at the time. I don't think he'll ever let me live it down because I've made fun of him countless times for ripping his pants while dancing at a party a few years ago. I hope this brightens your day and gives you a chuckle. Oh. Okay, this one is from, I may pronounce this wrong, Bronwyn? Sorry if I said that wrong. Years ago, I worked at an insurance company and always dressed in suits and heels. One day, I wore all black, and when I got to my desk, I looked down and realized that having gotten dressed in a dark bedroom that morning, I had put on navy shoes. Of course, it looked ridiculous. So I sat at my desk with a black magic marker and colored in my shoes. They were inexpensive faux leather, so I didn't care. It was better than driving all the way home or suffering embarrassment, and no one was the wiser. I have mistaken navy blue and black before in the bedroom, or in the closet in there. God, the trains are really loud these days. I don't know what it is. There's still leaves on the trees. Man, that's loud. I have no idea why they're so much louder right now. It's weird. Okay, this story is from Mary, not me, a different one. Hi there, fellow Mary. My wardrobe malfunction story took place back when I was in high school. Oh, that's the worst. That's when you don't want anything to go wrong. I was on the student council and had been selected with one other student from my school to go represent our council at the state student council conference. We were on the bus with other students from other schools going to this banquet hall, and I felt this annoying itch on my inner leg. I scratched my leg and felt what was a balled up pair of underwear. They had gotten balled up in my pants when I washed them and never fell out. Now I know why my mom always told me to not just ball up my jeans and toss them in the washer. You should always separate and pull, don't leave them wadded up. I ran into the bathroom when we arrived at the banquet hall and took the extra pair of underwear out of my pant leg, but not knowing where to store them during the event, I figured I'd just toss them in the trash. I walked out of the stall and threw a balled up pair of underwear in the trash, and a girl washing her hands gave me the most confused and disgusted look ever. I realized she probably thought I crapped myself. Hope this gave you a little laugh. Oh my gosh. Okay, then the story is from Bailey. I have a wardrobe malfunction story. It happened 2 months ago. I had just started at my new job, literally my first day there, so of course I dressed nice with a little bit of my own flair. I used to work in fashion, so I went with yellowy beige, high-waisted, white denim, tapered leg jeans in a classic mom jean silhouette, and a cropped wool mock neck sweater, and a black and yellowy beige argyle pattern on the front. That sounds cute. I had a meeting with my supervisor to meet them and learn one of the systems and just to go over regular admin type stuff and get my ducks in a row on the databases and such. Well, my meeting was in 10 minutes and I had just been trained on one aspect of my job and decided to go do that while I waited for my meeting to start. So I bent down to pick up a box that had parts I needed to get for this specific task, and as soon as I bent down, I heard a really loud ripping sound, and then immediately after that, I heard what I later found out was the sound of my manager's footsteps as they walked in to start the meeting. I had ripped my pants from the inner leg seam horizontally to the outer leg seam, right under where my butt meets my thigh. And the sweater I had on was super cropped, so I stood up, turned to face my manager, pulled my sweater off of myself and wrapped it really low around my hips so that it covered my new large rip and I wasn't exposing myself to my manager when I walked over to him, introduced myself, and waited for him to start the meeting, all with a straight face. I finished the last 4 hours of my shift and went home. Apparently, my manager heard the rip and came to check on me and, of course, saw the large, unmissable rip. But when I acted like nothing happened, he decided it would be best if he pretended it didn't happen either. So far, I've managed to not have any more wardrobe malfunctions, but if it happens again, I'm going to start to get a reputation. God, that sounds like a cute outfit. I hate it. I hate the pants ripped. And this story is from Lindsay. The only thing that sticks out in my mind was an incident from middle school. I was an early bloomer as far as developing, and I already needed to wear a bra starting in about 5th grade. I was so jealous of those girls. Now, I wouldn't say I was super large, probably a C cup at the time. A C cup in the 5th grade? Holy cow. Compared to my flat-chested peers, I felt self-conscious already. I would say I have an introverted personality type and typically avoid being the center of attention. So much so, when I got married, we only had immediate family, parents and siblings, in attendance. I never craved for the elaborate walking down the aisle moment with all eyes on me. So anyway, about the time I was in 6th grade in middle school, lowest on the totem pole, where the focus of most kids was to be cool and fit in, I had a rather unfortunate experience. I was in gym one day and we were playing volleyball. My parents didn't do much shopping, so my wardrobe was pretty bare and limited to essentials. They didn't really purchase name brand items, so the bra I had on was pretty cheap, and I didn't have a sports bra at that time. Well, unbeknownst to me, the left strap on my bra was starting to rip. I went up for a spike, and when I came down, the levee broke. Of course, it was not funny at the time, being a self-conscious teenager, but in hindsight, I can appreciate the humor. It was like a water balloon burst. The loose boob flopped free, and the unexpected coolness caused a noticeable response in the nipple region. I was so embarrassed that I had no idea how to play it off. My face was beet red, and though it took a second, it was like an electric ripple as people noticed. I tried to cover up as best as I could and asked to use the restroom. On the way to the restroom, I spied a paper clip in the hall and picked it up. It took some finagling, but I MacGyvered it into a hook that I slid through the metal adjuster thingy on the strap and slid the other end through the fabric loop where the strap was supposed to connect to try to hold the two pieces together. It was a mess and very uncomfortable, and the cups were lopsided, but it was better than being commando. Luckily, gym was my second to last class, so my contraption only had to last through science. The paperclip ended up scraping me a little on the shoulder, but that was nothing in comparison to the corny boob jokes I had to endure. Of course, I was everyone's breast friend that year. Hopefully, if nothing else, my story gave you a chuckle. P.S. I must have jinxed myself telling about a wardrobe malfunction. This morning, I managed to go into work with my shirt inside out and upside down. Wow. How do you get your shirt inside out and upside down? That's interesting. All right, this next one is from Gemma. Wardrobe malfunction. I'm not too keen on tights, but unfortunately, my legs aren't skinny enough to not touch each other, so I need to wear something under a skirt. My friend told me that hold-ups were the way to go. Not sure what they're called, if they're called the same thing in the U.S. Hold-ups are stockings without the suspender belt. They have that sticky silicone stuff around the top to keep them up. That sounds like thigh highs to me. They're quite sexy, and I had a pair I'd never tried, so I put them on with a skirt and some boots and went out shopping. I kind of felt confident like you do when you wear something nice. Up until I felt a slight dragging sensation around the top of my right leg. Very slowly at first, and then ping! The sticky stuff lost its grip on my leg, and the stocking shot down my thigh and hung over the top of my boot. I grabbed it quick as a flash and yanked it back up, but I couldn't just hoik my skirt up in the middle of the street, so I did my best, got it as high as I could, clenched my thighs together to hold it in place, and half walked, half stooped to the nearest toilet so I could sort them out properly. I ended up taking them off and have not worn them since. Yeah, I've tried thigh highs a few times. I didn't like them. Okay, this story is from Gina. Here's my story. I played ladies soccer, over 40 ladies, and met a great bunch of women. We formed a tight bond. Everyone is from a different walk of life. The office manager, the court reporter, the VP of a bank, the aesthetics spa technician, the engineer. You get the idea. Every year, we all go away on a golf weekend. Only 3 really golf, and the rest of us try. We get a big condo, and we stay in for the most part, and everyone has a task and one meal to cook. On the Saturday night, we usually go out to the same bar, and there's live music. It's an absolute great time. Before we go, the aesthetics tech takes it upon herself to bring each of us a sexy top to wear, and it usually matches our personality, kind of like what you're doing now with this game. We love it, and we can't wait to see what she has in store for us. For a few hours, she helps us get all dolled up because she says it's her job to make women look their absolute best. She's a bombshell, by the way. So one year, she brought me this chiffony-looking low-cut top in a blush burgundy color, which I wasn't too comfortable wearing. And as we were leaving, I had put on a crushed velvet vest over top. Everyone said, ugh, lose the vest. You look like you're batting for the other team. And I said, A, I'm not batting for the other team, and B, my mother made me this vest. So I lose the vest. So off we go. And the night was great. We were having a great time. And then someone recalled a funny story about me picking up a guitar the year before at a house party we went to afterward. And my friend, the bank manager, said, "Oh, look at Gina. She's so drunk she thinks she can play the guitar." And another friend of mine said, she can play the guitar. Fast forward to the present. We're in the bar having a good time, and this same friend turns to me and said, "Do you think the band will let you play and sing with them? I want to hear you." So I said to her, "Anna, you go ask the band and set it all up, and I'll sing for you." Clearly, she wasn't going to succeed. So she goes, and I order a scotch and soda. It comes with a little straw in the drink. She returns minutes later and says, "It's all set up. They're going on intermission soon, and you can have the stage." Oh my gosh, there must have been 150 people there. So I have one hand on my drink, and she takes my hand and guides me through the crowd. We come to the stage, and the bass player is bending over to put his bass in the case, and all I can see is his butt, so I have no idea what he really looks like. Then she taps him, and he stands up to turn around, and as I have my drink in one hand and the other is stirring it with the straw. He's over 6 feet, and he's all shaggy hair like a rock star, and he startles us with his look. She and I both screamed, "Ah!" As if in slow motion, the straw flicks out of my hand and sprays us with the drink, flips a few times in the air, and lands squarely between my breasts, exposed by that top I did not want to wear. My friend tries to make light of it, so she says, "Nice catch." And the bass player says, "I'll say." The end. Oh my God, that's funny. Excellent timing with the straw. Now this story is from, and I'm going to say this wrong, I'm sorry, Urte? I'm sorry, I know that's not right, I'm sorry. Thought I'd submit my funny wardrobe story. Back in high school, every Christmas we'd do short-themed skits. Every year it had a different theme, and each class made up their own performances. So picture this, I'm 13. That year the theme was last century, and our class drew the 50s from the lot. We came up with an energetic performance full of dancing and singing. I was a dancer for most of the performance, only having a 30-second break before the very last bit. I'm on stage having the time of my life, and right before my break, I feel something come loose. Thankfully, I made it through those last few seconds and go backstage, except now I have to face the fact that my bra has come undone at the worst time ever, and I have 30 seconds to fix it. There was no hiding the fact that it was undone. With all that dancing and the type of dress I was wearing, it was too obvious. And at 14, that is the equivalent of the world ending. Another hindrance, I could not fix it myself in the time frame I had, as the dress prevented me from reaching the bra without taking it off. So my only option is to pray that someone will help me out and hook it up through the dress. And the only person close to me in that moment was a close friend of mine. Great! A male friend of mine. Not so great. I'm an awkward teenager, and he's even more so. And yet he was my only hope. I turned to him, explained what I need him to do, with my face probably redder than a potato, and what I see looking back was the funniest expression I've ever seen. His eyes bulge out and he looks mortified, shocked into silence. We were just about to go back on stage, so I urged him to do it, still panicking at the fact that the whole school would see me like that, and God bless this guy, he actually did it. He wouldn't speak or even look at me properly until the next day, and at that point we just pretended nothing ever happened. I am forever grateful, though. He was my savior that day. And this story is from Alex. Let's see. This was in the 4th grade, so it was about 15 years ago, and I'm still scarred. We had an Egyptian day at school, and we had to dress up, make themed food, and do a dance for the whole 5th grade class, who would then come and watch us and enjoy the food with us. We were a small school, which is why we had functions like this. For my outfit, I went with a white sheet kind of wrapped around me like a toga. I practiced a few times at home to make sure I would know how to wrap it properly on the day. As I was really young when this happened, I didn't wear anything under it except underwear. No bra. I was a late bloomer. Anyway, on the day, after wrapping the sheet and securing it with a pin, it didn't feel as secure as when I practiced it at home, but I thought nothing of it until it came time to do our choreographed Egyptian dance, which at one point entailed us holding hands and dancing around in a circle. Well, just as the dance started, my pin broke, and for some reason, I didn't think to step away and stop dancing. Good team player, I guess. I thank my lucky stars that I tied it as a halter top, which held it in place, but the back flapped open, and the entire dance, everyone was looking at my little behind, and I was so mortified. To top it all off, afterwards, this boy I had a crush on said to me, "Don't worry, Alex. Every time you danced past me, I closed my eyes." And I knew that he had witnessed the whole thing. When I look back on it now, it's so silly, but at the time I wanted to melt into the ground. Oh my God. Oh, that's funny. And this is from Haley. When I was in high school when this happened. I happen to like button-up shirts a lot, and I wouldn't wear anything underneath because I like the way it looked to just wear an oversized flannel pattern button-up. Well, one day I was wearing a thin button-up, and one of the buttons came off. No biggie, it was just one button, and it wasn't too noticeable. So then, like my shirt has me in a hostage situation, it starts losing more buttons. Who makes buttons so flimsy? Anyway, I'm basically holding my shirt together with sheer will and fear, and I go find my best friend. Of course, she would always offer me the shirt off her back, so she does, kind of. She always wore tank tops under her clothes, so we went into the bathroom, and she tossed her tank top over the stall for me. She was a size smaller than I was. Needless to say, I ended up looking like the Hulk busting out of that tank top that was far too small for me, but I was forever grateful to not be naked in high school. Another quick one is one time I went to school with these new awesome shoes that I got the day before. I wore them for the first class, and the entire bottom of the shoe came off. I had to wrap clear tape around the bottom and clop around like a horse all day. God. Oh, man. And this one is from Iris. I watched your video about the wardrobe malfunction, and boy, do I have a few of those. I'm not sure why, but clothes and I have always had a bad relationship. The one that haunts me is the one I will tell you about. So this happened around 7 years ago. I was around 19 or 20 years old, and I took my sister to the movies. We bought our tickets and had some time to spare, so we went to Cold Stone to get some ice cream. We sat down, and I noticed that the chair was cold, but I didn't think anything of it. We were laughing and having a great time. We even talked to the family that was next to us. Before we left, I went to use the restroom. Well, when I pulled my pants down, I saw that my right butt pocket was completely ripped off and hanging by a thread. I was wearing a thong, so all you could see was butt. I was mortified. I didn't know it. I don't know when it ripped or how long it was like that, but I'm assuming it happened before we sat down to eat our ice cream because I definitely felt that cold chair on my rear. To top it off, my sister and I did not bring sweaters because it was a hot summer day. I walked back to our table covering my bum, told my younger sister that we had to go, and she burst into laughter once she saw what I was covering up. Everyone looked at me, and I turned into a bright red tomato. We walked outside, and my sister started to play Rip My Pants by SpongeBob SquarePants. She took a ton of pictures and videos of me while I did my walk of shame towards my car. We never got to watch that movie, but we will always have the memory of when my butt was out for everyone to see. The worst part is that those jeans were from the denim store I was working at. So when I had my next shift, I told everyone to not buy those jeans. That's funny. And this one is from Andrew. My funniest wardrobe malfunction story, funny now that I look back at it, has to be when I was going mini golfing with my friends. And as I was getting my ball, my jeans ripped and made the loudest noise when I bent down to get it. I was so embarrassed, but thank God I had a flannel shirt above my undershirt that I could tie around my jeans, which I had to wear tied backwards so the long part of the shirt would cover the giant hole in my thigh. It was super embarrassing at the time, but now it's all fun to look back on. You would think by now we could figure out a way to keep our clothes from not doing that. It seems to be a common theme. Okay, this is from Bethany. Just watched your video, and this isn't so much a wardrobe malfunction as more of an uncomfortable malfunction, but anyway, here we go. I was working an early morning shift at this restaurant I worked at the time. I rushed to get ready, as you do, so I get to work, and all day I was just so uncomfortable. I kept telling my coworkers, gosh, my underwear hurts today. I honestly just let it go, didn't feel like checking, and having to take my whole uniform off until I was done with my shift. Turns out my underwear was on backwards, and I'm talking little string thong underwear. Just imagine how ridiculous I felt when I finally figured out that I had done that. I bet that was uncomfortable. And this one is from Angie. In response to wardrobe malfunction, I've always worn a robe for when I'm getting ready. Well, one night after work, we were going to go to dinner, and so I had a quick shower. I was in my robe and in the laundry room grabbing some undergarments, and my husband yelled that our in-laws were there. They were watching our kids, so I was trying to run back to our room before they came in. Well, nylons made wood floors slippery, and so as I slipped, not gracious at all, my father-in-law came around the corner as my other side of my robe was still up in the air. So he saw more than he ever wanted to. It's been over 16 years. My hubby still talks about it, and he was walking with him. Let's just say I always tie the little ribbons inside now. And this one is from Kelsey. I'm a teacher, and I teach middle school special ed math. I provide push-in services to kids that are in the general ed classroom. I used to wear dresses every day. I called them my formless sacks. They are just so forgiving. One day, I was attempting to help a boy with some classwork because naturally he hadn't even gotten his notebook out. When he went to get it out of his desk, he dropped it. I bent down to pick it up, and my teacher badge on my lanyard got caught on the bottom of my dress. When I stood up, my lanyard brought my dress up too. I've never been so embarrassed, and the student was equally as embarrassed. We just gave each other the look of agreement to never speak of that moment. My teaching wardrobe now consists of a lot of pants. Okay, this is going to have to be the last one, and we're only on page 9, so this is going to be we're going to have to do multiple videos. All right, so from Gina. I have a funny wardrobe story. Back when I was in my 20s, before kids, I went out dancing with friends. I'm out on the dance floor dancing, having a great time. I was wearing a pair of pants that apparently I had worn recently. As I was dancing, I felt something slipping down my leg on the inside of one pant leg. And finally, whatever it was had slipped all the way down my leg as I was dancing until I looked down. I could see it was a pair of my underwear right there in plain sight, sticking out, resting on the top of my shoe. I guess I had taken off my pants the last time I wore them and just hung the pants up again with the underwear still in them. So there on the dance floor were a pair of my underwear. I picked those suckers up as fast as I could in hopes that no one saw them. I was beyond embarrassed. Memorable moments. The end. For now. We got about a third of the way through, and this isn't even all of them. Oh my gosh. I really hope you enjoyed hearing the stories, and if you've ever had an embarrassing wardrobe malfunction, maybe it makes you feel a little better to know that it's happened to basically everybody. So don't worry about it. I think everybody can relate. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm having a ball reading these stories. They're really funny. It's really interesting, and we've got some great storytellers. Some of the subscribers, y'all are awesome storytellers. You really put it all in perspective, and it's very detailed. So thank you again, and I will see you again really soon.